YouTube thumbnails are evolving. This niche doesn't work anymore. That niche doesn't work anymore. Let me tell you, it's all wrong. And who am I? Why do I know? And what the heck does my opinion even mean? I'm Leroy Tabrak. I'm a YouTube strategist for some of the most fun creators in the world. And on this channel, I want to talk about some YouTube strategy and YouTube growth stuff that goes around on the internet that I disagree with or agree with, and want to give you my take on it. If you want to know more about me, there's some links in the description, and you can find out if my opinion should hold any value or not. And you can make that decision yourself. I don't really care. But this is a trend that I've seen time and time again in the last few years, where people make these bold claims of saying that, oh, YouTube thumbnails are changing forever, or this doesn't work anymore in that niche, or that doesn't work anymore in that niche. And 99% of times it's nonsense. And let me tell you why it is nonsense. YouTube is big, very, very big. To be precise, it's so big that there is more content uploaded to the platform in an hour than you could probably watch in a lifetime, right? So YouTube is very big. And saying that there is a meta for winning on YouTube is like saying that there's a meta for winning at life. There's not. There are so many ways to win at life. You can't say that it's all down to one thing that works all the time. Now, I saw this video recently of Moon Kim. Now, let me get this out of the way here. And listen, first and foremost, really, really good video. I really like what he did here. It got 43,000 views so far, as it should, because it's a well-researched video. But there's a problem with his hook that I don't think we should popularize, so to say. Let's listen to a little part of it.
Take a look at this picture. Does this look like a YouTube thumbnail to you? The even better question is, does this look like a YouTube thumbnail that you would click on?
Yes, and let me tell you why. Different audiences. You're doing a thing here, and this is what I see a lot of people do. Again, this is not a Moon Kim call-out video or whatever. Great creator, follow him, subscribe to him. I think he has a lot of talent. But making the comparison between a video for this audience and this audience being this audience is a very different audience than this audience is, right? This is meant for young teens, very young kids, and this you know, is meant for a more adult audience, young adults, a little bit older, Gen Z, millennial audience. So you're comparing apples and pears. You're comparing two completely different audiences that are in no way on this. They don't like the same things. They do not, you know, have the same kind of brain. A kid will see this thumbnail and be like, that's boring. An adult will see this thumbnail and be like, what is this nonsense? They are two very different audiences. And that is the problem with a hook like this. So would you click on this? It's like asking, what are you? You know, it doesn't make sense to ask that question. It's a nonsensical question because you are comparing two completely different audiences.
The even better question is, does this look like a YouTube thumbnail that you would click on? This was made by Life of Riza, and it turns out a lot of people clicked on it, and it turned into one of her best performing videos. Compared to the thumbnails that come from some of the biggest creators these days, where their skin and teeth are completely smoothed out and the colors are cranked up to maximum saturation, it's no.
Some of the biggest creators, and then what you do is you show a ton of creators that are aimed at a younger audience. Now, let me tell you what the problem is with this. Again, it's like the same as saying like, oh, this type of content is saturated on YouTube or that. No, it's not. A certain style might be saturated. A certain way of doing things might be saturated. You know, we've all seen, as young men, we've all seen the Iman Gadzhi style with the black rasterite white background be misused and completely overdone by everyone that was doing something in the business niche. That style was overdone, but saying that there's no more space for good entrepreneurial content on YouTube is just flat out wrong. And making the comparison between thumbnails for a young audience like this and make the thumbnail for an older audience like that, it's just you're comparing two very, very different things, very different audiences. Now, according to his own logic, and again, this is not a Moon Kim call out video. This is a video to show the flaws in the reasoning here. This would mean, like, is this Outdoor Boys? I think that was the name. It's like saying that Outdoor Boys is not a big channel, while, you know, they are doing consistently very, very big views. But they're aimed at an older audience. But you might be biased because you maybe do not know that audience, right? Like, you may not know that this channel exists, but that's the whole thing. YouTube is so big that you can't say, oh, YouTube thumbnails are evolving or changing as a whole. Within niches, yes, they might change, but you can't say over the whole of YouTube. And that is just a reasoning and a flaw in thinking that I think is harmful to have, because especially beginner creators, and beginner creators fall for most things, they will see this and be like, oh, I can't do, you know, I'm creating content for kids. I can't do this anymore. I can't make the colorful thumbnails anymore because YouTube is changing. You know, they see this video, they think like, oh, I need to do something else. No, you need to know who you're creating content for. And if you know who you're creating content for, and you know the psychology of why they click, that's why you want to change your thumbnail. Not because someone says like, oh, YouTube thumbnails are evolving. That's not the case. Listen, this is not, again, this is no hate to Moon Kim, because I think he has huge potential, but he's just, there's an oversight here. There's something that he's missing, and he's missing that YouTube is too big to attribute like everything is changing on YouTube. No. The only thing that can change on YouTube that has platform-wide reach is when YouTube changes a feature, for example. And this is something that I think is really harmful for creators, especially beginner creators, you know, and they're the channels like vidIQ, and so some of these other YouTube educational creators, the harmful thing that they do is that they try to generalize advice based on the whole platform, and beginners try to adapt that advice to their niche, and it just doesn't work. You know, I work, for example, with an AI channel, and not an AI channel as in like the channel is made by AI, but it's an entrepreneur who makes content about how to build AI systems, etc., etc. With him, I have a very, very different approach to packaging, to hooks, than I do, for example, with my influencer creator in the dog niche. You know, those are two very, very different audiences, and saying that those two things are the same is harmful, because it's not. Like, it's absolutely not the same. So this was just something that I needed off my chest, that I felt like needed to be said, because there is a reason why beginner creators tend to be confused a lot of times because of these videos, you know, because of videos that generalize all the YouTube is changing, or these hooks don't work anymore. These niches you shouldn't get into if you're doing faceless creating. It's all nonsense. You need to look at the situation and the data that you're trying to compare. Are you comparing apples and oranges, or are you comparing apples to apples? That's something you should know. Anyway, welcome to this new channel, I guess. It's a Yap channel where I talk about stuff that I see on YouTube that irks me from a YouTube strategist perspective that is very active on the platform of YouTube and does millions of views every single month with my clients. If you like what you see, just click subscribe. Peace.